All right, get his clothes on.
Now the whole damn thing's gone dead.
They could have found him.
If they haven't yet, they soon will.
Precisely. Call the riot squad in, Fletcher. I'm going to see the minister, and we're going to need your men as well, Inspector. We're going in.
Here, put these on. Gets pretty cold in here without the heating. Believe me, I know.
Privileges so soon after my arrival?
You three better get back to reception, see if Sandy needs you.
Okay.
Well, Mr. Faulkner, how does it feel being on the other side of the bars? I think you'll agree it's rather unpleasant.
Enjoy yourself while you can. Won't last for long.
That'll depend a lot on you, won't it? Maybe on me.
What's that supposed to mean?
Oh, I think I could be of more value to you than you think.
A deal? You want to make a deal?
Oh, did I say anything about a deal? All I'm saying is don't lump me in with the rest of these sheep. I'm an independent person. I'll do what's best for me.
Look, lady, from where I stand, you're in this up to your neck with the rest of them. Whatever they cop, you'll cop it too. Believe me, I'll make sure of that.
Now, Mr. Faulkner, don't be hasty. A good businessman always keeps his options open.
Mr. Waters, I have told you all that I am able to at the moment. Discussions are underway with the prisoners, and we are expecting a settlement very shortly. No, that is not true. As yet, there have been no casualties, and we do not expect any. You will be notified if there is any change in the situation. Mr. Waters, we have only one line in operation. It would be appreciated if... No, I'm sorry, I can't. Goodbye. One thing I do not need is a sensation-seeking reporter.
Well, this has just been thrown out one of the windows. Steve Faulkner's. God knows what they're doing to him in there.
Or did he have a spare one in the locker? It could be a bluff.
It's got his ID on it.
So, now they have a hostage. Well, that's going to make bargaining more difficult. Is there any news as to whether they've captured Officer Conway?
No, not yet. That'll only be a matter of time.
Well, one thing's certain, we'll have to call off the riot squad now that we know they've got a hostage.
But surely they wouldn't hurt him. They'd only be in more trouble.
We can't take that chance. Would you tell Chief Inspector Thorne that it now seems definite they are holding Officer Faulkner? As yet, there is no news regarding Officer Conway. I just hope she can handle herself.
Of course, I've heard a lot about the way you handled the Barnhurst women and all about you. But I've been stuck in D-block since you arrived, so I haven't had a chance to say hello.
Hello.
Well, what's the next step going to be then? I mean, how do we bust out of here?
How would I know?
Come on. I didn't come down in the last shower, you know. Look, I heard about that riot you organised a while back at Barnhurst. And you've been here about 5 minutes and this little lot blows up? You're not going to try and tell me that's a coincidence.
That's a coincidence.
Yeah, I'll bet. Listen now, what you got planned for the good-looking screw we got locked up? I've got a couple of swinging ideas that might brighten up the evening. Come to think of it, why wait that long?
You better ask Sandy first.
What do you mean? What's she got to do with it now you're here? Listen, now Smith's on a deathbed and out of the way. It's an open field.
Aren't you forgetting something? Sandy's top dog around here right now. That's what the women want.
Ah, she's just a kid. She hasn't got what it takes. She'd be a pushover for someone like you. Look, when you're ready to make your move, you might need a good friend. So just give us the nod, eh?
I don't envy Steve Faulkner at the moment. I know what it's like to be held hostage.
No, he'll be all right. I've been thinking. He's more used to them alive and well, so they're not going to harm him. Not yet, anyway. Milk and sugar?
No, thank you. But he's so new to Wentworth, untried. I've no idea how he'll react under the circumstances.
Well, they're holding all the aces at the moment, so I suppose we have to wait for them to make the first move.
Meg, what are you doing here? I thought you'd gone home.
I was, but I thought, what's the point of staying at home? I'm not injured or anything. I thought I'd be more use back here.
Well, are you sure? You must have been very shaken up.
Yes, I'm fine. It was stupid of me to go to pieces like that. It all happened so fast. I just wasn't prepared. Perhaps I've been a parole officer for too long. I'm out of practice.
A good officer never forgets how to behave in an emergency.
I agree, Colleen. But you weren't there. You don't know what it was like.
That's enough. Thank you for returning to duty, Mrs. Morris. Would you let Chief Inspector Thorne know that you're back and see if there's anything you can do to help? He'll fill you in on the current circumstances.
Well, if we do storm the prison, I don't think we can expect much help in that direction. Oh, she's too soft. She'd probably be more worried about the prisoners being hurt.
So would I, Mrs. Powell. Don't underestimate Mrs. Morris's capabilities, nor her value as an officer. She has many good qualities from her years of experience. One which comes to mind is her humility.
Oh, if she's so good, I wonder why she didn't get the promotion.
This is Bob Harvey with another news flash. There's been a further development in the siege at the Wentworth Detention Centre. A short time ago, a male prison officer's uniform was thrown from one of the windows in the detention centre to the police waiting below. It's believed that uniform belongs to one of the officers who was on duty at the time the riot broke out. It's now fairly certain that that officer has been taken hostage by the inmates, although they have not yet made their demands known to the authorities. That's all the information we have for you at the moment, but we'll bring you further reports as soon as they come to...
Bloody idiots!
Found you.
No, they seem to have stopped looking. They must think you're the only one in hiding. Now, hang on, I'll get you out.
Have you found a way out?
No, I was looking to find you first.
Well, you'll have to leave me here until you do. If you let me out now, the women will know for sure there's more than one of us. They'll start searching again and make it twice as hard.
Well, I thought if we were both looking, we'd find a way out more quickly.
Oh, no, believe me. As long as they think I'm the only officer inside, it'll give you more freedom to move around.
Well, what if I get caught and you're stuck in here? Then neither of us will get out.
It's a risk we'll have to take. Look, you find a way out, then come back and get me. Get going. It's all up to you now. Be careful.
Hello?
Who's that?
This is Erica Davidson speaking.
Mrs. Davidson, it's B. Smith here. Is the ride over yet?
B, I thought... No, far from it, I'm afraid. We've lost our phone link-up, which is making communication rather difficult. I think they've disconnected at the prison switchboard.
Oh, the bloody idiots. Listen, I can't talk for long, but is there any chance that I could get to speak to Sandy? This whole thing's getting out of control. If they've got demands, they've got to open negotiations, and soon.
Well, we're ready to negotiate, but we're getting nothing from them. We don't even know whether Officer Faulkner's safe.
Yeah, I saw that on the news. And I tell you, if there's no proper control in there, some of those women will eat him alive. Listen, is there any way you can arrange for me to speak to Sandy or any of the other women? Maybe I can get things moving along.
Well, I'll see what I can do, but a lot depends on the women's reaction, so it may take some time.
Yeah. Well, you know where to find me. I think I've got to go. Somebody else wants to use the phone. Bye. Gotcha. Oh.
As a means to settling this dispute, we are prepared to arrange a telephone conversation between B. Smith and Sandy Edwards or any other responsible representative. As you have disconnected your phone, one of you will have to come across to the visiting suite to take the call. However, you have my personal guarantee that whoever you choose will be allowed to return to the prison afterwards as a mark of our good faith. Could you let me have your decision as soon as possible?
They're bluffing.
I don't think so.
No, they just want one of us over there so they're in a stronger bargaining position.
What if B. Smith did call up? She might have thought of a few lurks we haven't thought of.
That'd be the bloody day. She's a has-been. What good could she possibly do?
Now, don't underestimate her. She still cracks a big whip around here, and don't you forget it. What do you reckon, Kate?
I think someone should go, but I don't think it should be Sandy. This is her show. She's too valuable here.
Well, she's the one B wants to talk to.
Yes, but if it is a trick and they don't let her back in, we've lost our leader.
You reckon?
Well, who do you think ought to go?
Me?
You? Why you? You're needed here in the hospital.
Rubbish, all the fighting's over.
What if it starts up again and they don't let you back?
I think we can stop them from doing that.
Hey, Mrs. Davidson! That's close enough. We accept your proposal, but with a couple of conditions.
What are the conditions?
First of all, it won't be Sandy Edwards who's coming over. It'll be Kate Peterson.
Smith asked for Edwards.
You said or a representative. Now, we've decided on Peterson, and that's it. Take it or leave it.
What is the other condition?
We want a swap. While Peterson's over with you, we want one of your officers over here. Sort of a safeguard. When you finish with Peterson, we'll send the screw back. As a mark of your good faith.
You're being very unreasonable. You already have Mr. Faulkner.
Oh, come off it. We don't want to swap him. Finders keepers, if you know what I mean.
Very well. We'll let you know when the call is connected.
Well, no more trips to the loo for you, eh? Hope they've got someone to relieve you. Ooh, relieve you. Hey, Boris Karloff, I made a joke. Ooh. Oh, forget it.
Oh, this rigmarole. Oh, I tell you, you women from Wentworth are more trouble than you're worth.
Anybody would think you were a private patient with all these privileges.
This is not exactly a private call, sister.
That has nothing to do with it. You keep so many people tied up who could be better employed doing something worthwhile.
Thank you, Florence Nightingale. Hello?
Smith, this is Erica Davidson. If you'll just hold on, I'll inform the women that your call is through. It may take some time, so I don't think you've been disconnected. By the way, you'll be speaking to Kate Peterson, not Sandy Edwards.
I asked for Sandy.
Yes, I know you did, but I'm afraid it was out of my hands. It was the women's decision. Well, you can ask Peterson when you speak to her. Now, if you will just hold on, I'll get her.
There's not a word from Steve, and I wonder what's happened to Janet. There's not been a sign as to whether they're alive or dead.
It's such a waste of time. We should just be storming the place. Well...
Winter? This is Mrs. Davidson. Winter, are you there? The call with B. Smith has been connected. Will you send over Kate Peterson?
Not so fast. Where's your part of the deal?
I'll go.
No, I'll go. You both realize how dangerous this could be. You don't know what you'll find when you get over there.
Yes, but I can handle myself in an emergency. Anyway, as senior ranking officer, it's my place to go.
Well, I've told Mrs. Powell there are to be no foolish heroics. I hope she doesn't do anything foolish.
Righto, you. On the count of 3, start moving towards me. Kate will move off at the same time. 1, 2, 3.
Don't try anything. Leave everything to me. Good afternoon, Mrs. Davidson, Mrs. Morris.
B. Smith is on the phone. She's not very happy. She was expecting Edwards.
The women didn't think it was a good idea having their leader alone in the enemy camp.
Well, let us go to the visiting suite.
Hello, B.
Well, bloody hell, you took your time, didn't you?
Well, I'm sorry.
Yeah, look, all right. What happened to Sandy?
Well,
She's already got one hostage. What more could you want?
Look, I can handle it, B. I'll relate everything you've said back to Sandy. Now, what are your suggestions?
Well, are you alone there?
No, Mrs. Davidson's here.
Yeah, we'll get rid of her.
Right, I'll tell her. She says she'll only talk to me if I'm here alone. I'm sorry. All right. Right, she's gone.
Yeah, well, it probably doesn't make any difference. They've most likely got the call bugged anyway. Listen, tell me, how much of a hand did Mari Winter have in organising this show?
Nothing at all, as far as I can tell. Sandy was the one who gave the word.
Yeah? All right. But I'll bet my new kiddie that Mari had something to do with it. It's got her stamp all over it. Is Sandy still in control?
Yes, completely. Margot Gaffney is beginning to stir a bit, though.
She would. Tell Sandy to keep an eye on her and Mari. They're both trouble. Oh, and whose stupid idea it was to throw that Screws uniform out the window? It was bloody idiotic. All that sort of thing does is get you bad press, and you need that like you need a double hernia. Now, if your demands are reasonable, you might just get him on side, and that could help to sway the outcome, as long as things start happening soon.
Look, I haven't got too much longer. Look, what else do you want me to tell Sandy?
Tell her to draw up a list of demands that are reasonable. Add in a few little ones that don't really matter, unimportant ones. Oh, and under no circumstances is that screw to be harmed in any way. And that means keeping the man-hungry ones away from him as well. If anything happens to him, you can kiss any of your chances goodbye.
I've locked him in one of the cells. He's perfectly safe. Listen, my time's up. I'm going to have to hang up. Don't worry, I'll pass on everything you've said.
Yeah, well, tell Sandy to quit playing silly buggers and pull her finger out. Time is running out and you're getting nowhere. You have got to start negotiations.
Right, I'll tell her, don't worry. And look, don't worry about us. Just look after yourself and try and get some rest, will you? Bye.
Get some rest, she says. Fat chance.
Davidson's taken a bit of a risk sending you over, pal. I would have thought they would have sent someone who wasn't quite so hated.
You don't scare me, Gaffney. I volunteered. Besides, if anything does happen to me, you lose Kate Peterson.
Why should I give a stuff about her? I hardly even know her.
Shut up, Margot, and leave her alone.
Where are all the others? Smashing up the place, are they?
Some are in the kitchen trying to rustle up some food. Some are in the rec room and some are having a sleep. Everything's under control. You see, we're really quite civilised.
Civilised. Well, I hope you don't include that one in that statement.
You bitch! You'll wreck the whole deal!
Just give me a couple of minutes alone with her. I won't leave a mark.
Why don't you go along to the kitchen and see what's happening there?
This siege isn't going to last forever, Gaffney. We'll soon be back in charge. I'll make your life hell.
If you're still around.
Kitchen! Try not to stir her up too much, Mrs. Powell. You see, I won't be around all the time.
What did you say before?
How do you think it'll go?
Who knows? Peterson's sensible. She'll do what she can. How did they treat you in there?
Gaffney was a bit edgy, but she knew what to expect if she went too far.
What are the conditions like in there?
Surprisingly calm. If things had been handled properly in the first place, they wouldn't have had the time to settle down.
Excuse me, Mrs. Davidson?
Yes?
I'm Sergeant Hanley. I have a warrant here in the name of Mrs. Elizabeth Josephine Birdsworth. She's to appear in court on a charge of arson.
Well, that is out of the question, Sergeant. As no doubt your superiors are aware, there is a siege going on here. Mrs. Birdsworth is in there with the others. So you will just have to wait.
I'm only following orders, ma'am.
It's essential we draw up a list of demands, as Bea said, and open negotiations.
What are our chances of a bust-out?
None, not with the reinforcements they've got out there. And with the whole world knowing we've got a siege, we wouldn't last a day.
We'll just have to make the best of it, I suppose. Better go and find Sandy. She won't be too happy about being left out of the action.
Can I leave you to go and find her and explain?
Where are you going to be?
I've got to make sure the hostage gets fed.
Oh, right. Well, while you're in the kitchen, see what you can do about getting some food for us, will you? I'm bloody starving.
Right.
There you are. I've been looking all over the place for you.
Yeah, well, I wanted to find somewhere with a bit of peace and quiet so I could work out what we should ask for.
Well, that's what I want to talk to you about. The Screws took a telephone call from Bea Smith. Now, she wanted to talk to you, but we couldn't find you, so we sent Kate Peterson over instead.
Well, why the hell didn't you try to find me? I couldn't have been far away. Besides, Kate's not like the rest of us.
Yeah, well, I reckon she can handle herself all right. Anyhow, I'm not so stupid to send one of our women over without some kind of insurance. So we had them send Powell over in exchange.
What? How did she behave?
Like a little lamb.
Well, in future, if something like that happens, I want in on it. Understand?
Yeah, all right. Now, listen. Bea reckons we ought to present our demands as soon as possible. She reckons if we don't, the press is going to go sour on us and the Screws are going to be forced to take action.
Yeah, well, she's right. I've just about finished my list. Give us a couple more minutes and I will give it to you and the others to check over, OK? I was thinking, what about sending Lizzie over with a list?
Oh, why not? The old bag wants to stay neutral, so we might as well put it to some good use.
Yeah. Right, well, I'll find her and put it to her myself.
Hey, listen. I reckon we oughtn't let the Screws come back without giving them a bit of a headache. What do you say I let the women loose on the files? We could even wreck the staff room as well. I mean, we're going to cop it anyway, so we might as well make it worthwhile.
Yeah, okay. But don't go too far. I don't want any more fires lit, okay? Just so they let off a bit of steam.
Righto. Well, you heard the boss. Let's get moving.
I'm thinking of sending Lizzie Birdsworth across to the Screws with the list of demands. Have you seen her?
No, I haven't. Have you tried the rec room?
Oh. Oh, there you are.
Yeah, and I'm bloody staying there too.
But I've got this little job I want you to do.
Well, you can jam it. I told you I'm not getting mixed up in your bloody riot.
But this is different. Look, we're going to send a list of demands across to the Screws, and I want you to take it.
Well, I'm staying here, Pat. I don't want to get my head shot off.
Oh, don't be a dill, Lizzie. You'll only be acting as a messenger. Look, you don't even have to bother coming back if you don't want to.
What? Stay over there with the Screws? If I had a choice of staying with them or you lot, I'd stick with you lot every time.
Well, you can please yourself. But if you do decide to go over, you'll be helping to get the siege over and done with.
Oh, well, all right. Don't suppose it'll be doing any harm. But I'm not going to do anything else, so don't you ask me any more favours.
I won't. Thanks. Look, I'll send for you when I'm ready. Will you still be here?
As a matter of fact, I was thinking of going and do a bit of fishing. Of course I'll bloody well be here.
Okay.
This place isn't what it used to be.
Well, if we're going to do it, it'll have to be tonight. Otherwise, we'll give them another full day, and that'll give them too much time to organise their defences properly.
And what about the risk to Steve and Janet? Well, they're still in there. If you storm the place, they could be used as shields, hostages. They could get killed. I've seen it happen before.
Now, come on, Meg. We're just as concerned about their safety as you are. We've already taken that into consideration if you just listen to the plan.
Go ahead, Mr. Fletcher.
Right, well, when it gets dark enough, I'll slip into the prison through the trapdoor on the roof. Now, it's locked from the outside, so that shouldn't present any problem. Now, when I get hold of Steve and Janet, I'll signal Chief Inspector Thorne and he'll start the attack. In the confusion, we'll get out the same way as I got in.
Well, how can you signal if you're inside the prison?
We'll both be carrying walkie-talkies, so we'll be in constant contact.
And how are you going to get onto the road?
Well, I'll shoot a grappling hook up from here and climb up the wall.
You're going to be seen.
We'll be installing floodlights at these points here and here. Now, as soon as Jim makes his move, I'll cut off the power inside and out. That'll give him sufficient protection.
What sort of an attack will the assault on the prison take?
Well, I'll be leading the attack from here. We'll fire in tear gas grenades and then we'll storm the place.
Firearms?
We'll be carrying them, yes. But we'll only use them as a last resort.
I've heard that before. What if the women overcome one of your men and gets hold of his gun?
With my men, that won't happen.
I still don't like it. I think we could get the same result with a negotiation.
Well, a couple of hours of daylight left. We'll try it your way until it's good and dark. But after that, I'm afraid, we'll have to obey the minister's orders.
Want to grow up to be big and strong, don't you?
Oh, very funny. What's in it anyway?
Well, sort of an Irish stew. A mixture of camp pie, baked beans, peas, plums, pineapple, a few corn cobs. Tastes rotten, doesn't it?
Well, that's going to have to change. We're all going to get food poisoning. They're going to have to send over fresh food every day. We'll cut that hostage up a bit.
Well, I don't suppose he'll taste much better.
What are you making?
What's it look like? A white flag?
What for?
Well, if I have to take your list of demands to the screws, I'm not crossing no man's land without some sort of protection.
Oh, you don't think they're going to fire on you, you silly old bag?
I'm not taking any chances. They'll never shoot at a white flag. It's an international sign of peace. My late husband, Blossom Birdsworth's brother Cyril, used one a lot in the last war.
What happened to him?
He got shot.
Anyone taken the trouble to read any of the files?
Yeah, I read some. Couldn't find anything very interesting.
Well, you didn't go back far enough, did you? I've got one here from 11 years ago.
All right, I'll bite. What's in it?
This isn't the first time Officer Conway's been at Wentworth.
Well, so what? She's probably been a screw at lots of different places.
Yeah, once a screw, always a screw.
But she wasn't a screw. She was a prisoner.
Little bitch.
We've had that chance, Mrs. Davidson. Now we'll have to go on with our plan.
Inspector, I don't like it. At least let me have another chance of talking to them.
Something's happening, look. All right, Lizzie, go on. There's nothing to worry about. You've got your right flag. You'll be right as rain.
Yeah, that's what Cyril thought.
It's Lizzie.
Why is she coming out?
To negotiate, of course. They said they wanted to. Well, I'm glad she's coming. I don't think her heart would have stood much more.
Well, she's out to stay. She's far too old to be involved in this sort of carry-on.
We can't keep her here. She might have to take a message back. We'll just have to wait and see what she has to say.
Well, Jim and I will wait back in the visiting centre. She's got to go back inside. We can't have her reporting that he's dressed like that. You know, we're planning something.
Should get a better view from one of the windows along here. How about this one? No, the corner of the building will be in the way. Let's try the next one. Oh, I wish I had a pair of binoculars.
Can you see anything?
Yeah, I can just make out the screws waiting for Lizzie on the other side.
How much further does she have to go?
Not much.
Here, let me have a look. How do you think they'll take the list of demands?
Well, they'll have to come to the party, won't they? Otherwise, they know what's going to happen to our hostage. We can cut him up quite a bit and still manage to keep him alive.
Don't shoot. It's me, Lizzie. I come in peace.
It's all right, Lizzie. Keep coming.
Lizzie, is that Birdsworth?
Yes, that's Birdsworth.
G'day, Mrs. Davidson.
Are you all right, Lizzie?
Of course I am, Mrs. M. I don't mind telling you how the wind up coming across through all them bright lights.
How are things in the prison?
Oh, just the same, Mrs. Davidson. They're a mad lot. They wouldn't know their elbows from their... Now, if B had been in charge of this, things would have been different. All this would have been over now, and we would have all known where we stood.
Well, you're better off out of it. And you can stay here until it's over.
Oh, not you too. That's what Sandy said. But I haven't come over here to stay.
You mean they said you could stay here?
Yeah. Look, I mightn't have anything to do with the riot. But listen, I can't cop out on them because they're me mates.
Well, why are you here?
Oh, they picked me to bring you over this. It's a list of their demands or something. But I got to go back.
Well, Lizzie, when you go back, tell them we will only discuss their demands when they hand back the prison, release the hostage, and everything is back to normal.
OK, Mrs. Davidson. I'll tell them. I don't know what good it'll do. Anyway, here I go again.
No, I'm afraid you don't.
What are you talking about?
You are Elizabeth Josephine Birdsworth?
Of course I am. Who do you think I am, the Queen of Sheba?
Well, I have a warrant here, and you're coming back with me.
What? Now? tonight?
Sergeant, can't this wait until things are back to normal?
I'm sorry, Mrs. Davidson.
Lizzie's got to go back and tell them what Mrs. Davidson said.
I don't think so. She said herself she's not expected back.
But, Sergeant...
Goodbye, Mrs. Davidson. Come along, Wordsworth.
Don't leave me alone.
Open the gate.
Bastards. Did you see that? So much for Lizzie's white flag.
I can't believe you. Why would they be so stupid? Must realise it's only going to make the situation worse.
What else can you expect from those mongrels? Well, that's it then. They're obviously out for a hard time, and by God, they're going to get one.
The screws have taken Lizzie.
Yes, we know. We're watching from the window.
What the hell do they think they're playing at?
They're out to show us their strength. Well, it's about time they realise just what they're up against. What's that? Well, well, well. You couldn't have picked a better time to put in an appearance.
Hello, Conway. I've just been reading your file. It was really fascinating. One thing we love is an ex-con who turns into a screw.
The other girls will be real pleased you decided to join us. Can't wait to see their faces. Get going, Conway. Move!
This is your last chance. We have your list of demands, and on most points we are open to discussion. But negotiations cannot take place until the prison is back under our control and the hostage released.
You can forget it, Screws. You're not coming in, and we're not coming out until you agree to our demands. And we want that agreement in writing. Don't think we're going to take your word for it after what just happened to Lizzie Birdsworth.
I knew that had caused trouble. They think we betrayed them.
Well, never trust us now. We've got to go ahead with our plan.
Edwards, listen. You are mistaken. Lizzie being taken was not our doing. The police arrived with a warrant to take her back on the charge of arson. We tried to stop them, but were unsuccessful. I know how it must look, but I assure you that is the truth.
Yeah, it's tough all over. And by the way, I've got another bit of information for you to chew on. Guess who else we've got over here? Conway. I didn't know you hired ex-cons as prison officers. Right, I'm through talking. You know our terms. Either you agree to them or we start giving your friends a hard time.
You listen to me, Edwards. If you touch either of those officers, and you'll find out what hard means. And that's a promise.
You really scare me, Fletch. What's the matter? Worried we might hurt your girlfriend? Okay, get someone over here with a statement signed that you agree to our terms. End of discussion.
That's not helping, Mr. Fletcher.
You heard her. It's a stalemate. We've got to go in now. We've got no choice before it's too late.
All right. But whatever you find in there, don't lose your head. Just get Faulkner and Conway out of there and leave the rest to the police.
Right, come on.
Okay, Conway. You're going to be processed. You should know the procedure. You've done it before from both sides. Get your clothes off.
Do it.
Janet Conway, you have been charged and found guilty of the following crimes. Consorting with screws, betraying other prisoners by becoming a screw yourself after you've already been on the inside. Hurry up with your clothes. Put this on. Bloody mongrels! They've cut the power. You hang on to Conway. I'll fix those bastards! Listen, Screws, that was a stupid mistake. Now we'll show you we mean business. Murray, they think we're fooling. Get Conway over here.
You reckon you can get the hook up there in one shot?
Well, I'm going to have to either. I'm not going to get away with 2 shots. They're going to wonder what the noise is anyway.
Yes, well, hopefully they'll be too busy coping with the blackout to notice. Now, let's make sure we know what we're doing. As soon as you hit the roof, you go for the trap door. You got the key?
Yeah.
Good. Now, once you're inside, you're going to have to move fast. You might have to cover a lot of area to find them. We're not going to have much time. Revolver?
Yeah, got it.
I know you know how to use it, but be careful, OK?
Don't worry, nobody's going to get hurt. It's not loaded.
Our game. Well, it's probably better.
Right, now, as soon as I've got them, I'll be in touch with you by walkie-talkie. Then you and your boys can move in, all right?
You got it. Good luck.
Same to you.
Sounded like a shot or an explosion or something.
Oh, you're hearing things.
Listen, Screws! We want the power on, and we want it on fast! And just to let you know we're not kidding, you stick around and listen to this. Okay, then come over here. You know, sweetheart, tell them who you are and make it good and loud.
It's Charlotte Conway, Mrs. Davidson. Now, don't worry about me, I'm all right.
Did you hear that, Mrs. Davidson? That's just the beginning if we don't get the lights on in 10 seconds!
Sorry about that.
Get in there, you little bitches! Stop falling! How does it feel to be on the inside again, Screw?
Like old home week, ain't it?
Leave me alone. Just leave me alone.
You heard the little lady. She wants a bit of time to herself. Well, she's had a big day. Just so you don't feel too sad. You're not going to have all the fun. Now it's your mate's turn.
Oh, that's for me. I've really been looking forward to this.
Not this time, Mari. I think I can handle this one on my own.
You sure? I mean, I don't mind helping out a bit.
Yeah. Thanks. Well, I'd like a bit of privacy for what I've got planned. They've just left.
Yeah, I heard them as I came down the corridor. Steve.
Oh, they took him down to Bryant and Burnside. Edwards has just gone down there.
Right, now listen carefully. We haven't got much time. The police are about to invade the place. Now I want you to go to the top floor near solitary and hide yourself and wait for me.
Well, can I come with you? They might catch me again.
Just make sure they don't. Now, for God's sake. Just don't argue. Just get going. Now, hurry.
Look after yourself.
You too. Young, Mrs. Fletcher. I've located Conway. She's on her way to the top floor. I know where Steve is and I expect to get him out in a couple of minutes. Just give me 4 minutes and then start the attack. Over and out.
It's true, they're going to do it. They're going to attack the place.
Right! They're going to attack the prison! Everyone get to reception quick!
I wish he could again, but that was on the outside, and things were different then. On the inside, the sun still shines, and the rain falls down, but the sun and rain are prisoners too. Around. Last night I dreamed we were together, sharing